Check your answers to the 3 U-Try problems. If any of your answers are incorrect, please continue to watch the video to try to find your mistake. The answer to the first U-Try problem is 4a minus 3 times a plus 1. Remember, what goes in each parenthesis is not important. If you wrote this as a plus 1 and 4a minus 3 over here, that's fine. The second answer is 3x plus 2 times x plus 3. The final answer, greatest common factor of 3 times 2y minus 1 times y minus 4. For the first problem, I check for a greatest common factor among all 3 terms. There is not one. I multiply a 4 times c negative 3 and get negative 12. I write the b term here. The coefficient of this is 1. I am looking for 2 things that multiply to be negative 12 and add to be positive 1. Positive 4 and negative 3. I rewrite my polynomial as 4 terms, or as my trinomial as 4 terms. So 4a squared, blank, blank, and then negative 3. In the blank, I fill in with my 2 factors, 4a and negative 3a, and I factor with grouping. Out of this group, a greatest common factor of 4a. 4a squared divided by 4a is a. 4a divided by 4a is 1. Out of this group, we will take out a negative 3. Negative 3a divided by negative 3 is a. Negative 3 divided by negative 3 is positive 1. I see that my 2 parentheses match, so one of my factors is a plus 1. My other factor is 4a minus 3. For number 2, I look for a greatest common factor among all 3 of the terms. There is not a number that goes into 3, 11, and 6. I multiply. a 3 times c 6 gives me 18. In the bottom of the x, I'm going to put the coefficient or the value of b. I'm looking for 2 numbers that multiply to be 18 and add to be 11. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 plus 2 is 11. I rewrite my trinomial as a 4-term polynomial. 3x squared, blank, blank, and I keep the plus 6. In those blanks, I am going to use these 2 numbers. Positive 9x and positive 2x combine to make positive 11x. And I factor with grouping. Out of this group, we take out a 3x. So 3x squared divided by 3x leaves me with just x. And 9x divided by 3x leaves me with positive 3. Out of the second group, we're going to take out a positive 2. 2x divided by x gives me, 2x divided by 2 is just x, and 6 divided by 2 is 3. I'm on the right track because the parentheses match. One of my factors is x plus 3. My other factor is 3x plus 2. Finally, I'm looking for a greatest common factor among all 3 terms. I should notice that 6y squared, negative 27y, and positive 12 are all divisible by 3. When I take that out, I am left with 2y squared minus 9y plus 4. I multiply my a times my c, so 2 times 4 is 8. And I put my coefficient of y, or my b term, right there. I am looking for 2 things that multiply to be 8 and add to be negative 9. So negative 8 and negative 1 will make that happen. Negative 8 times negative 1 is positive 8. Negative 8 plus negative 1 is negative 9. Holding on to the original 3, I am going to rewrite this trinomial with 4 terms. Keep 2y squared, blank, blank, and then my plus 4. In those 2 blanks, I'm going to use these 2 factors. Negative 8y and negative 1y combine to make negative 9y. And I factor with grouping. Out of this group, they share a common 2y. So hanging on to my 3, I'm going to introduce a new grouping symbol to separate the greatest common factor from the grouping. Write down the 2y. 2y squared divided by 2y is y. Negative 8y divided by 2y is negative 4. Out of the second group, these share a negative 1 as the greatest common factor. Negative 1y divided by negative 1 is y, and 4 divided by negative 1 is negative 4. Again, I'm on the right track because both of these have a y minus 4 in the parentheses. Keeping the original greatest common factor of 3, these both have a y minus 4, and what's left over is 2y minus 1.